It is almost 4 years since the hurricanes chased everyone out of New Orleans and flooded communities from Florida to Louisiana. While the government's response was less than stellar, the outpouring of support from nonprofits and individuals was outstanding. Much of the work done in the first 2 years was accomplished by volunteers. Our visit to the Gulf Coast brought us into contact with many of these amazing everyday heroes, and we dedicate this edition to the thousands who sacrificed their time, their vacations, their sweat, and their service to the rebuilding of the community and the spirit of the Gulf Coast.
I'm here to help out my fellow Americans.
Habitat for Humanity, it's a nonprofit. It's led by our staff and built house with volunteers. We're trying to build somewhere around 250 houses in the whole Gulf Coast. Here we have 7 blitz houses. We start from a floor system, and by the end of the week we'll be completely finished. It's really exciting when people decide to come down here and spend their vacation with us.
I took a little time off from work and just hopped a flight, got right down here and started building the house you see right behind us.
It's really nice to come out here and to be a part of the group that believes that we have a responsibility to give to other people. It just felt like the thing to do.
You don't always need to have a vacation that's just for you. Sometimes a vacation that really gives back to the community is as good as a vacation.
When I drive around the city of New Orleans and I see the devastation from Katrina, we're in a neighborhood where there's a lot of devastation, a lot of empty lots. On a grand scale, it's a small contribution, but it's still a contribution.
When the storm actually hit, people thought everybody forgot about them, but I think in their heart they know now that the people, just like them, want to come from all over the world and help build, and they're cared about.
We have a small staff, and none of this is as possible at all with the staff we have. We can maybe build 2 houses at a time, but we're able to build sometimes around 50 houses at a time because of all the volunteers.
To see a full house built, to know with my hands I've built a house, someone's going to be living in the house because I've helped build it. The feeling is almost indescribable.
America is not perfect, but I think we work really hard to be as good as we can be.
We're here in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, and I don't know if y'all have heard about it, but this town has pretty much gotten wiped out from Katrina. The eye of the storm did hit this area, and there's been a lot of surrounding areas that's also been hit, like Louisiana and parts of Alabama. But Mississippi really has gotten the worst of it, I have to say. If you have been down the coastline, you can see that there are no more homes where at the times there were mansions out there, beautiful houses, and now there's nothing there. You may see some Katrina cottages there, some people rebuilding, but it's a slow process, and it is taking a long time, and I'm sure it's going to take quite a bit of time to come before things are all back to normal, but slowly things are coming back, to normal. I have been seeking some help to kind of regain my ability to live back in a house again, and been living in a FEMA trailer for a little over 2 years. I got together with Kathleen Johnson at Katrina Relief. She sent an organization here from Nebraska, and they've been terrific. Yesterday I had a house standing here that was pretty much watered out, and it was rotted from the storm. And as you can see today, now it's it's down, and they're in full steam with it. They're in full process of helping me get back to a normal life again. And I'm so thankful for the people that have come and the volunteers that have been doing all this work. It's just really been great.
To see volunteer stories, go to www.projectkatrinavolunteers.net.
As the Gulf Coast rebuilds after Hurricane Katrina, it's not just the landscape that is changing.
We understand that the Hispanic population was about 15,000 before Katrina. We're well over 50,000 now.
Hispanic workers are flocking to Biloxi, looking for jobs and hoping for a better life for their families. But they face some big challenges.
Helping people get their children in school. We've had a lot of people whose wages didn't get paid.
United Methodist pastor Sally Bevel heads a new ministry helping immigrants in Mississippi. Many have trouble finding houses they can afford. The program helped Maria Castillo catch up on her rent while caring for her family after the hurricane.
I
don't have the words to describe how what they've done has helped me.
Bevel says some workers have been mugged while carrying cash because they can't open bank accounts.
People just think because they may be undocumented or they don't speak the language that they can just abuse them.
Let's review the parts of the body.
Ankle.
Foot.
Here, new arrivals can learn English and build confidence to speak up.
You can go to the store and I'm not afraid because somebody can ask me a question and I'll be able to answer them, or I can go to the doctor and they're able to understand me and I'm able to understand them.
Hello. Hola.
And despite the devastation of the storms, Bevel sees new possibilities.
We're watching a new creation along the coast, a new community, a place where God is taking what was so devastating and making something hopeful and new out of it. And to be a part of that is life-changing.
National Civilian Community Corps, NCCC, is a national program that enrolls over 1,100 18 to 24-year-olds each year who perform 1.8 million hours of volunteer service during their 8-month residential participation. NCCC members start with an 8-week training session at one of 5 campuses across the U.S. This prepares participants to meet the national homeland security and disaster response needs. NCCC members then work for 6 months in the Gulf Coast. Many of the AmeriCorps NCCC volunteers become trainers or group leaders during their 8 months of service in the Gulf Coast.
AmeriCorps National Civilian Community Corps is an organization that brings 18 to 25-year-olds in to do community service projects, and we mainly work down in the Gulf Coast region. AmeriCorps Western Region currently has 22 teams down here in the Gulf region, and Camp Hope is where we house a lot of our NCCC members that come in to work for various projects like Habitat for Humanity.
Just that. We house volunteers for a number of other groups. Some of our partner organizations are the St. Bernard Project, the Hope Worldwide, Hands On, the New Orleans Recovery School District. We will house volunteers from any group as long as we have space. The idea is to provide an inexpensive but comfortable place for people to stay during their volunteer work weeks down here in the Gulf region.
I am Timothy Howard. I'm from Kentucky. I am a member of AmeriCorps NCCC. What kind of brought me about down here was that when I was going through high school and I was going through college, there's a lot of trouble spots in the world. And I always felt like I should do something, but because of high school and because of college and because of those responsibilities, I didn't have the time, or I didn't feel like I could dedicate as much as myself to these problem spots as I felt was needed. So after I finished college, I realized that I did not have a family yet, I didn't have any established job, and I had the time in my life to volunteer for one of these organizations. And so I did some research and found AmeriCorps NCCC, and with their 10-month program, I decided that that would be a good thing for me, you know, help out in the United States, which I think it's important to, well, there are other problem spots in the world. I think it's important to help out at home. So I signed up for the program and trained for a month in California. And then our first project, our first of 4 projects, they sent us to Camp Hope in St. Bernard's Parish. So now I have learned how to do siding, painting interiors. Hopefully I'll get a chance to learn how to do framing roofing soon. And I worked in the Habitat warehouse for 2 weeks, so I also learned how to work a forklift, which is my new favorite tool. And yeah, had a great time. Everybody's very, very enjoyable to work with, very pleasant, very understanding of your situation, and definitely everybody has their own story, whether it has to do with the hurricane and the locals or the volunteers who come down here and how they did it. So yeah, really happy I'm down here and looking forward to more time.
I was here in March with a music group. I was on tour, and I fell in love with New Orleans very unexpectedly. I was a senior in college in New York City, and I assumed I would stay in New York City just because that's what most people who I went to school with did, and that's what my plan had been for most of college. So all of a sudden, here I am, March of senior year, saying I'm going to move to New Orleans. And I didn't really care what job I was doing here, so I did a very wide-ranging job search. I just looked in a variety of different fields, and to my great surprise, ended up working in construction, which is not what you usually do with a degree in musical anthropology, but that's what I'm doing with it, and I love it. I love every day of it, so it's great fun. Habitat is a really fun organization to work with, and you know, people often say, oh, you know, it's so good of you to give a year of your life and to give your time, but in all honesty, you know, it doesn't feel like it's something I'm doing just for other people, because it's also definitely for myself as well, because the city is incredible and it's a really interesting place to live and to sort of spend my time when I'm young. And the people who I work with are just fantastic, and of course the volunteers are great. Everybody who comes down and just donates their time is amazing. And it's a great experience as well to be using my brain in a very different way and getting to use my body as well after 4 years of college.
Hi, my name is Mary McVeigh. I'm a member of AmeriCorps NCCC from the Western Region Campus, Sacramento. I've been down here for about a month now with my team of 11 Corps members, doing some community service in the Camp Hope kitchen. We are cooking for anywhere to between 400 and 700, maybe sometimes even 800 volunteers. It's a different kind of community service. I was down here last year for about 6 months doing a variety of rebuilding and construction projects. So this is a nice change, working with the community members, for the community members, feeding them, getting to share with them, interact with them in a different way. So there's a lot of different kinds of volunteer work that can be done besides rebuilding. So come on down and check it out.
I first came down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi in May to serve as the administrative assistant for the Gulf Coast office, which is in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Jules Hampton is the director down here, and I had a wonderful experience. And then I moved on to doing a summer of service program in July, which was held at Xavier University. We brought inner city kids from New Orleans, 14 to 17-year-olds, and they learned what serving their community was all about, and we had a wonderful time. That was a month long, and I am now back as the Camp Hope support team leader to serve for a month.
One of the things that I tell our people at orientation each week is that it's important that you're here. It doesn't matter if you lift a finger while you're here. There are people down here who have had their faith in humanity restored just by the fact that volunteers are coming, that they know that someone cares for them. I spoke with a local resident here who told me that he sat on the roof of his house for 5 days waiting for someone to come and rescue him and his father and his mother, elderly father and mother. He lost his mother during that 5-day period, and he said he had lost faith in everything. But the people coming here to Camp Hope have restored his faith. So it's important that people show that they care about their fellow Americans, fellow community members in the St. Bernard Parish, Louisiana area, and give back just by being here.
To see volunteer stories, go to www.projectkatrinavolunteers.net.
Hi, my name is Lucas LaRose. I'm a sophomore political science criminal justice major from the University of Nebraska. Now, what we're doing back here is, this is a group from the university. We all range in age and vary. Some of us work for the university, most of us are students. But throughout here are team leaders, and they're very good leaders for all of us. The reason why I wanted to come down here is just because after I saw all the news reports on CNN, NBC News, Fox News, and when you saw Katrina happen to this region, it didn't feel like it's happened to the region, it happened to the whole country as a whole. I mean, I felt the pain, even though I have no relatives out here. And coming from the Midwest, we know a little thing or two about, damage and everything. We can clean up, and I've seen Midwestern towns clean up after about a week after a tornado. So we know a thing or two. And I think the reason why we're here is just because it's break. yeah, we could sit at home, work, just sit around, but we'd rather be helping people, and that's what this is about. It's about service. It's about trusting each other here.
We're here in Waveland, Mississippi with students from the University of Nebraska who have come here to join Katrina Relief to help homeowners rebuild their lives after Katrina.
My name's Katie Moran. I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. This is my 4th time here over the course of the 2 years. And the reason why I came back is because it's just addicting, really. And it's just people need help. People need help. It's very frustrating to come back after 2 years and see that only 20% of the city in Waveland itself has been recovered. I know it's very frustrating for people who live here. I can only imagine the battle between with money and insurance and the government. I would only hope that if this would happen to me, that people would come from all over the country to help out. And I feel like it's very important that people come down and volunteer.
To see volunteer stories, go to www.projectkatrinavolunteers.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Hondros. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I've been a union carpenter for 42 years. I just retired, and I have an RV, and I saw Kathleen's request for help on an RV website, and I responded, and we're down here for about a month on our way down south for the winter. It's my wife, my son, and myself, and we're only too happy to help out. These people need the help. They really do. It's amazing the amount of destruction that's still here, and the people that are still not taken care of. I mean, it's people that need the help, not people that are just sitting around begging for something. It's people that need help. They can't do it themselves. Not that they won't, they can't. So that's what I see here. It's the working poor and the people who aren't able to do for themselves, who don't have insurance, and the government's forgotten about. And that's pretty much my story.
To see volunteer stories, go to www.projectkatrinavolunteers.net.
You can see some of their furniture has been taken out, all their personal belongings, photos. It's a real mess in there, and this family really needs help in just getting the basic first step in putting their lives back together, which is getting all the debris out of their house. So we can go take a tour. The Barron Builders Group is working on this house as well, helping them take it out. Again, this is the FEMA provided trailer. This is what this family has been living in since the hurricane. You can see the water line here, and I'll explain the X. Most of the houses in this neighborhood have this orange X. This orange X means that after the hurricane, a couple days after, authorities from various agencies come and checked every house to see if there are any people who needed rescue, and also if there were any deceased. The X means that the house had been checked. Now, the lettering, NO, I believe, means New Orleans, and ANS is some agency. That's the agency that checked the house. So you'll see different houses have different letters on it, which means a different agency checked it. Now, you don't see it in this house, but sometimes you see a 0 underneath the X or a number. If there's a 0, that means that there are no deceased in the house. However, if there is a number, that means that they did find bodies there. Also, sometimes on the X's, they also put the date where they checked the house. But we're going to come inside and look at what's going on in here. So be careful from the flying debris. So we're taking out this house, this demo work right here. You can see there's still some personal belongings here. Shelves, clothes. Now the back is really something that you want to see. The back of the house has been untouched in 9 months. They have a child, this was the child's room, the computer, everything. These are all her belongings. Everything is still here. This has been like this for 9 months, and this family still has not had help in being able to clean it up. All the black stuff on the walls is mold. Really devastation. The refrigerator in the kitchen here is like this. It floated from the water. It was turned over like this. Who knows what's inside? We haven't had a chance to check. But as you can see, I mean, this is a family's house, and it has not yet been cleared out. There's a lot of devastation here, a lot of mold. You can see all over here. It's completely uninhabitable. You can't live in here at all. So this is some real devastation right here. So hopefully we can get this family started in putting their lives back together. But there looks like there's running water. I don't know.
You might want to get a shot of that. And
yeah.
One thing, since I had them tear into this,
yeah.
If we can spend a few minutes focusing on the front room, so they feel
yeah.
they just know that we can.
We didn't take up Bird. We left the Bird in the closet, not the closet, in the middle bathroom.
Was she okay?
Floor. Yeah, the Bird was fine. My brother stayed. He lived about a mile away. He said he sat on his porch and watched the storm. Sitting under his porch, it wasn't really stormy, but you could see the trees hitting everybody's houses.
Yeah.
And
have you lived here your whole life?
I used to live, I'd say like 15 blocks that way, in Lakewood South. And like 9 years ago, we moved to the North Shore.
And you like it better up there?
It's better for raising a kid.
Yeah.
You know? If you're single, you want to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like it up there? North Shore?
Yeah, I like Old Mandeville's old, you know, it's a real old town.
We live in Old Mandeville.
Yeah. But then you go a few blocks and then it starts to get, you know, very new.
Yeah.
Because everybody's moved up there, and it was like 50,000 people, and since the storm, it's gone to 100-something thousand, and the streets are just packed. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can pick y'all up both up like this. What I'm gonna do is getting all the other wires out. Pick y'all up instead of.
It's leaving. That's good.
Oh, okay. So that was
They're sore.
That is the sore too?
They're sore.